She wasn't supposed to dream. She wasn't supposed to study. To the world, she was just a cleaner, someone invisible, someone overlooked. But late at night, under the dim light of a borrowed book, she dared to reach for something more. That's when the whispers began. The mocking laughs, the cruel reminders of her place. Yet what no one knew was that those quiet nights would lead to a moment powerful enough to silence every insult. How could a single discovery rewrite her entire destiny? By day, she blended into the background, pushing her cart of cleaning supplies through long office hallways that smelled faintly of coffee and printer ink. To most, she was invisible, another worker in a uniform, another face they didn't bother to remember. Her name was Clara, and though her hands were calloused from endless scrubbing, her mind was sharp, hungry, and unshaken. Clara had grown up knowing the world didn't expect much from her. She was reminded of it every time someone dismissed her with a glance, or when her paycheck barely covered rent for the cramped apartment she called home. But late at night, when the offices emptied and silence filled the air, Clara transformed. Instead of going straight home, she lingered. A small notebook and worn-out textbooks waited for her in her bag, tucked between rags and gloves, under the dim glow of a desk lamp. She studied business, economics, and anything else she could get her hands on. She dreamed of breaking free, not just from the job, but from the labels the world forced on her. Still, the walls around her whispered reminders of reality. The wealthy executives who passed her by never imagined she could belong in their world. And every laugh, every careless remark she overheard was a reminder. In their eyes, she was a cleaner and nothing more. But Clara knew something was coming, a moment where she would have to prove them all wrong. Clara thought no one noticed her late-night studies. She was careful, tucking her books away before dawn, wiping the desks spotless as if nothing had happened. But one night, as she scribbled notes on a balance sheet, a shadow moved across the glass wall. It was two interns, young, well-dressed, laughing as they spotted her. "Look at this," one snickered, phone already in hand. "The cleaner thinks she's the CEO." Clara's cheeks burned, but she didn't look up. The click of a camera shutter cut through the silence. Within hours, her picture was floating through office group chats, captions mocking her for pretending to be smart. The next day, whispers followed her like smoke. Some chuckled openly when she walked by. Others shook their heads, muttering about knowing your place. By evening, even the senior managers were smirking, asking sarcastically if she was preparing to take over the company. It didn't stop there. Security guards started checking her bag, claiming it was suspicious she stayed after hours. A supervisor warned her that she was lucky to even have this job, and that studying in the office wasn't part of her duties. Still, Clara refused to stop. Each insult only hardened her resolve. At night, when the laughter faded, she kept reading, knowing her future couldn't be limited to broom handles and bleach, but the pressure was mounting. Her paycheck was already thin, and now there were threats. "Keep it up, and you'll be out of here." One Friday, she came in to find a note taped to her locker, 3 words scrawled in red ink. "Know your place." Clara's hands shook as she read it, but she tore the note down and shoved it into her pocket. That night, when the lights dimmed, she opened her books again. The risk was growing, but so was the fire inside her. What she didn't know was that someone unexpected was watching. A man in a sharp suit, stepping out of his corner office late at night, paused at the doorway. He saw Clara hunched over her notebook, lips moving silently as she solved equations she wasn't supposed to understand. He didn't speak, not yet. But the weight of his gaze followed her as she closed her books and walked out into the darkness, unaware that her life was about to collide with his, and nothing would ever be the same. The laughter had reached its peak. A company dinner, filled with polished executives and guests in tailored suits. Clara had been assigned to clear tables and refill glasses, a job she did quietly, unnoticed, until one of the interns recognized her. "There she is," he shouted, waving his phone. On the screen was the picture of Clara hunched over her books. "Our very own cleaning lady. Studying to be the boss." The room erupted. Laughter bounced off the crystal chandeliers, cruel and sharp. Some clapped mockingly. Others raised their glasses, toasting to the future CEO. Clara's face flushed, her hands trembling as she tried to steady a tray. Then it happened. Someone tripped her deliberately, and the glasses shattered across the floor. The room fell silent, waiting for her to break down. Instead, Clara knelt to gather the shards with bare hands, blood mixing with spilled wine. A voice cut through the silence. "Stop." It wasn't a laugh. It wasn't mockery. It was firm, commanding. Clara froze, her eyes rising slowly to see the man at the head table. The billionaire owner of the company, watching every cruel moment unfold. He stood, his gaze sweeping the room, his voice low but searing. "Tell me," he said, "which one of you here has the discipline to clean all day and then study business until dawn? Which of you has the hunger to work harder than everyone in this room, without recognition, without privilege?" No one spoke. The silence was louder than the laughter had ever been. Clara's heart pounded. The humiliation still burned, but in that moment something shifted. For the first time, the laughter wasn't at her. It was on them. And what the billionaire said next would change her life forever. The room that had mocked her just moments before now sat frozen in silence. The billionaire's words cut deeper than any insult ever could, and for the first time, Clara's struggle was seen for what it truly was. Resilience, not ridicule. He didn't stop there. He walked over to Clara, still on her knees gathering shards of glass, and offered his hand. "Get up," he said, not as a command but as an invitation. And when she stood bloodied but unbroken, he announced to the entire room, "From this day forward, she's not your cleaner. She's joining my office as an analyst." Gasps filled the air. The same interns who had mocked her looked down in shame. Managers shifted uncomfortably in their seats, and Clara, trembling, realized her life had just changed forever. But the truth is, this story isn't just about Clara. It's about what too many people face every single day. The dismissive looks, the whispered jokes, the doors slammed shut before they even have the chance to prove themselves. Clara's victory was rare. For every story like hers, countless others end in silence. Racism doesn't always scream in the streets. Sometimes it hides in boardrooms, classrooms, and quiet hallways. It shows up in the way people are underestimated, mocked, or told to know their place. Clara's story is a reminder. Talent, intelligence, and determination are not bound by uniforms, titles, or skin color. The question is, will we keep ignoring it? Or will we finally see the people we've overlooked for too long? Because the next Clara is already out there, studying in the dark, waiting for someone to believe in her. So ask yourself, will you laugh? Or will you help them rise?